Good morning. It is 11:31. Breaking news here at KOMO Newsradio. I'm Nancy Barrick. We've got a shooting in Seattle's Roosevelt neighborhood. We're just learning that 2 people have been killed. We have multiple victims. KOMO's Ian Sterling joins us live with the latest.
Nancy, this is happening at a cafe at Roosevelt and 58th Street here. And believe me, it is a very active scene. There are helicopters overhead. Driving here, I was passed by a number of police vehicles and fire trucks. The police have an area, I'd say we're probably 3 blocks away from this actual cafe right now. It's locked down while they look for whoever may have done the shooting. We're being told that possibly up to 5 people have been shot there. Of course, we'll have much more on this story as it develops. Reporting live, Ian Sterling, KOMO Newsradio.
And KOMO's Charlie Harger is in studio. What's the latest you know, Charlie?
Seattle police tweeting that 2 people are dead in this incident. We also have reports of 1 person shot in the head. Their condition is unknown. 2 other people, according to Seattle police, have been shot. This is a rapidly developing situation, but that's what we have so far, Nancy.
And we've got KOMO's Corwin Hake live at Harborview Medical Center.
One Medic 1 aid car has arrived here under police escort, and we're certainly expecting more. Harborview Medical Center is certainly the premier trauma center in the Northwest. They're well experienced with gunshot wounds. The victims, as they arrive, will go into immediate treatment here. And now I'm seeing a second Medic 1 car arrive, perhaps with the second victim in this shooting. Of course, more details to come. Live at Harborview, Corwin Hake, KOMO Newsradio.
And Roosevelt High School, close to where the shooting occurred, it is now under lockdown.
Roosevelt High School has been placed in lockdown as a precaution because of the shooting that happened this morning.
There is a suspect at large seen running away from the scene northbound, armed with a gun. Described as a white male, 30 to 40 years of age, 6 foot tall, medium build, brown hair, a goatee or beard. He was wearing a dark shirt. And Seattle police emphasizing that the public is advised to stay away from this area. We'll continue to follow this story here on KOMO News Radio.
So we have another shooting to report, Nancy Barrick.
Just a crazy morning here in Seattle. We've gotten word of another shooting at 8th and Seneca. This, according to a tweet coming from Seattle police.
Right now we want to get to John Repp, who's got an update on the shooting downtown here in Seattle. How are you, John?
Just had a chance to talk just real briefly with a woman who said she witnessed what happened, that she said that she saw a person standing over a woman on the ground that was actually kicking her and then pulled out a gun and shot her. But I'm going to stay here and try to get more information from police and from other people who have seen this happen.
Now, Owen works and lives in the area and was around there at the time of the shooting.
I was actually walking down a couple blocks over, and that's when I first heard all the sirens and cop cars. I actually live on the back side of the alley, and as I approached, it was clear that they blocked off all of Roosevelt and Ravenna corners, and I kind of got trapped in the middle of all the crime scene tape here.
Now we're going to talk with Nick Metz, Deputy Police Chief.
Our homicide unit is here. They are taking command of the scene. We have our canine en route as well. So we have a lot of people out right now searching for this individual. We want to let neighbors know that we're doing everything that we can to find this person.
Right now we're going to go to Marina Rockinger, who is at the Cafe Racer.
I mean, as you can imagine, police cars everywhere, yellow police tape everywhere, very quiet tree-lined streets. It's definitely not an area that you would even picture something like this happening.
We have our helicopter up, and there are shots that were showing authorities going through this neighborhood, and I saw there were probably 2 or 3 what appeared to be SWAT team members going in through the back door of a home in that vicinity here. C.W. Jensen is a former police captain in Portland.
People need to realize the woman killed at Seneca and these people in the University District, I mean, it's all random. It's not interconnected, and people driving home to Bellevue or Kirkland or wherever, I mean, you know, there's no single person that's out there trying to do you in.
KOMO's Joel Marino.
There have been teams of officers going house by house through those neighborhoods, checking to see if somebody is hiding somewhere in there. Now, there was an unconfirmed witness report that police are checking out right now that this suspect may have jumped on a bus
after getting in the car, and that's still something we're trying to work out here.
Brianna Hidalgo works at a personal training gym and heard the commotion.
We went outside to see what was going on, and we looked down the street, and we heard a gunshot. And then a woman came running up the street telling us to get back in our building because there was a gunman.
Teresa Whipple is with Seattle Public Schools.
We also have 2 other schools in that general area that are in a shelter-in-place designation, and those are Eckstein Middle School and Green Lake Elementary. In West Seattle, which was apparently the site of a place where a car was found in an unrelated or different shooting, we have 4 schools that are in lockdown.
And we've just learned that a third victim has died in all of this, so now 3 dead. Of course, now the manhunt is on, and police like Christine Fairchild, who lives near here, are worried about going home.
That's a little scary to us. I had my neighbor walk through with our backyard with her German Shepherd.
And it has been an absolutely shocking day in this city.
When officers arrived, they found 5 people in the restaurant who had been shot.
On our KOMO Newsline right now is James Allen Fox. He's a professor of criminology.
Most mass murderers, they don't just suddenly snap and go berserk and just so happen to have 2 AK-47s in the trunk of their car. These are well-planned executions, and they will find a way to get the gun if they need to have one.
Well, Seattle police are now releasing pictures of the suspect in the Cafe Racer mass murders. Now, these pictures were taken by security cameras inside the cafe. We have gotten these pictures now up on our website, and you can take a look for yourself at KOMONews.com.
We go live to City Hall.
We've had 2 tragic shootings today that have shaken this city, and it follows on the heels of multiple tragic episodes of gun violence that have occurred throughout the city. I've made it clear to the police department that it's their highest priority to find the shooters and bring them to justice.
KOMO News time is 3:57. We have breaking news. Joel Marino's live on the KOMO Newsline about another shooting in West Seattle. Joel, go ahead.
Well, I'm on my way to the location right now, but I just got a call from a trusted police source who tells me that they believe they shot the gunman involved in at least the shooting from 8th and Seneca today, that deadly shooting. The police source tells me that the officer shot that gunman, and they believe he's dead, and it's at a residence at 37th Southwest and Southwest Raymond in West Seattle. We're heading that way right now. We can hear on the police scanners, it sounds like police are active in that at that intersection. Sounds like they are setting up some containment lines there as well, but what I'm hearing right now is that the suspect has been shot.
And actually, the plot thickens, Herb. We've just gotten word from Seattle Assistant Police Chief Pugel. He tells us that a man who has been found dead in West Seattle, this is at 37th and South Raymond Street, Pugel tells KOMO News that this is actually the suspect in the Roosevelt shooting. Self-inflicted gunshot wound is what we're understanding. Now, secondarily, we have this shooting at 8th and Seneca earlier today. That's where a man is accused of shooting a woman in the head. He took off in a black Mercedes. That black Mercedes was later found in West Seattle. So we have 2 converging things happening in West Seattle right now.
And Michael Redding is director of the Crisis Clinic. He is on the KOMO Newsline right now. Michael, what do you tell people who are worried about the violence in our city?
We tell people the best thing to do is to talk it out, reach out to those that you have natural supports to. We're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get calls from folks that are having that kind of emotional distress.
Former Seattle Police Chief Norm Stamper, who has a pretty unique perspective on what's happening today. Chief Stamper, thanks so much for being with us. Tell us what's going through your mind when you hear about all this violence in the city.
I'm struck by the fact that they're all over the city, the CD, the South End, Seattle Center, Town Hall, the U District, maybe even one in West Seattle. The shooters are all men. And that begins to suggest that we have some long-range work to do with respect to how we raise our boys and teach them to settle their differences and resolve conflicts. And we also have some short-term things that really do need to be done about these guns, as far as I'm concerned.
The man who opened fire at that U District coffee shop today, found dead, apparently, in West Seattle this afternoon. And that's where we find KOMO's Tom Glasgow. He's joining us live. Tom?
Jane, I'm at Southwest Raymond Street on the corner of 36th Avenue Southwest. This is where police are having the media wait right now as we wait the arrival of a public information officer. The body of the suspect in that shooting is about a block away, down on 37th Avenue Southwest. About 10 to 15 people that live in this area have gathered basically to see what is going on. Helicopters flying overhead, as you might imagine, as the media continues to gather here with about 2 police officers in our area, kind of keeping us restrained again. But we cannot see or come close to seeing any portion of this scene where the body was discovered within the last hour. Reporting live from West Seattle, Tom Glasgow, KOMO Newsradio.
We have former Mayor Greg Nichols, former Mayor of Seattle, on the KOMO Newsline right now. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us. Tell us what your thoughts are about what's been happening in the area lately.
Well, this is obviously an incredibly sad day in our city. We're proud of Seattle for a lot of different reasons, but among them is that it's a very safe city where random acts of violence and deadly force is a very rare thing. And to have these incidents today on top of what happened around the city and around the region on Memorial Weekend, it's sad. It scares people, and it really raises some pretty significant issues.
Tom Glasgow is in West Seattle now with Seattle Police. Tom, bring us up to date. Let's go.
We're with Officer Nick Metz. He is able to bring us up to date in terms of what took place today with the suspect in the shooting at Cafe Racer earlier today. You believe that the individual who shot himself here in West Seattle, officer, is that suspect. And can you fill us in all the details you have up to this time?
As patrol officers started to come in, the suspect saw that he was just about to be captured, and the suspect then raised a firearm to his head and then shot himself in the head. Suspect went down. Officers rendered aid until fire medics could arrive. My homicide detectives have informed me that they feel very confident that the individual involved in the shooting in the 5900 block of Roosevelt Northeast is the same shooter as the one at 8th and Seneca.
And joining us right now on the KOMO Newsline is journalist and author Ron Francel. He wrote the book Delivered from Evil. It profiles survivors of mass murders.
The typical mass murderer tends not to be like a serial killer in the sense that he wants to accomplish something and get away and go do it again. This is his end game.
Joining us on the KOMO Newsline is Seattle City Councilman Nick Licata. Nick, I know you are very familiar with Cafe Racer. You've been there before.
The Racer Cafe was a place that I actually did 3 years ago, a fundraiser, and on their website is a picture of me with Drew Kay, who was killed. And I just can't believe that it happened.
And we now know the name of that man. He is Ian Stawicki, a 40-year-old from Ellensburg. What do you know, what do we know about this guy, Ian Stawicki from Ellensburg?
Well, I talked to police who were in the thick of the search for him and who were familiar with his record. We know that he's a 40-year-old guy. In 1989, that was one of the first times that he had a criminal history in Washington. He was stopped for unlawful carrying of a weapon, but that didn't lead to a conviction. And interestingly enough, though he does have several cases, none of them have led to convictions. All of them have either been thrown out with or without prejudice in the courts. His history includes domestic violence, interference, assault in the fourth degree, malicious mischief, driving with a suspended license, and that case from 1989 that I told you about, but none of them have led to convictions. I was also told by police who were there when he shot himself that they talked to his brother, and that's how they confirmed his identity.
Andrew Stawicki lives in Ellensburg and says that when he saw a picture on the news of the alleged gunman inside Cafe Racer, he recognized it as his brother Ian. Stawicki told the Seattle Times his brother was mentally ill. He says, quote, "It's no surprise to me this happened. We could see this coming. Nothing good is going to come with that much anger inside of you." Those words from the brother of the alleged shooter, Ian Stawicki. Larry Rice, KOMO News Radio.
A deadly day, a sense of disbelief, and the sounds that will forever remind us of the violence.
It has been an absolutely shocking day of violence in Seattle.
The individual involved in the shooting in the 5900 block of Roosevelt Northeast is the same shooter as the one at 8th and Seneca.
They walked up to this man, thought he saw uniformed officers, and police say he shot himself in the head. We do now believe.
It's just sad. Anxious to find out what really happened. It's just a sad day for the city.
The rest of their life, their tragic life, has already begun. Starting tonight, when they can sleep, There will be intense nightmares, and this will last for years. There will be flashbacks.
This terrible day began with 5 people shot inside a Seattle coffee shop.
Breaking news here at KOMO Newsradio.
Police say a man walked into Cafe Racer. It's a neighborhood coffee bar here and opened fire.
An eyewitness saw this woman on the ground. The male suspect pulled out the gun and shot her once in the head.
I'm wondering what the heck's going on in the city. Everybody's getting gun happy in this town. It's just crazy. It's 2 shootings within a matter of 20 minutes.
Not only do I have my daughters, I have a son as well. So, I worry every day.
We've also made it clear to them that it's their highest priority to identify the strategies that we need to employ to try to bring an end to this wave of gun violence that the city is seeing.
We don't give prognosis. Harborview is known for saving lives, and we do our best.
We've also made it clear to them that it's their highest priority to identify the strategies that we need to employ to try to bring an end to this wave of gun violence that the city is seeing.
Roosevelt High School has been placed in lockdown as a precaution because of the shooting that happened.
A horrific scene as a gunman walks into a U-District cafe and opens fire, hitting 5 people. 2 died inside that cafe.
How do we address a culture of violence, including gun violence?
Their motive is retaliation, and they actually seldom think about an end game. They don't give much thought at all to their inevitable capture or death.